Good night. Welcome in to NFT Live on the Web3 Network. We're sitting here on a beautiful Thursday, the last episode of the week, and I've got some great co-hosts with me. It's nothing like storylines that we're going to cover today that just reaffirm that we just live in just a clown world, man. Just an absolute ridiculousness of hype mania, ultimate depression. I mean, just we're all over the place in the markets. Just everything, man. But I'm good to see, or I'm good to have you here, guys. Happy to have you, and good to see you. There we go. I'm having an aneurysm. Please send help. Gifted, how are you doing, man?
What just happened? What was that? You are good to see us here. Anyway, I'm happy to be here. I'm good to happy with Ronan here, and yeah, it's gonna be a great day. I have to say, like this. There's a couple things that I've loved that have happened on Twitter in the last 24 hours that we can talk about. But seeing the chief legal officer of Coinbase apologizing to the Pepe community is absolutely one of my favorite moments in my entire existence on Twitter.
Ronan, how are you doing today, man?
Man, we've been around for a lot in the last few years, dude. Like that I gotta catch up on what took place. I'm good, dude. I'm good. You know, working, and like just like a lot of people, trying not to like, you know, get too sucked up into like the world going on. So.
No, I feel you. I got you. One of the things that you're doing as well is collecting. This is from Ronan to CC, the man that we have sitting right here, of course. Still has his ape. Or at least I think he does. We'll see. But been a bit busy with life lately, and finally had a chance to sit and appreciate some art. Remembered I had to check out my Jeff Jag Builders of Titania reveal, and holy shit, I am just wow. So you've been doing some collecting as well, Ronan.
Yeah, dude. It's like literally the only thing that's like that remotely brings me joy when it comes to this space recently, dude. And when I went and I checked that out, dude, I was floored. I like went and looked at the collection. I don't know if any other like hidden portraits have been revealed, but as you can see, like it's like a chick's face, and it's just a beautiful piece of work. And like I love everything Jeff does, like when it comes to AI, and like getting to like sit and like listen to him talk about how he like does his prompt like crafting and things like that. When we were in Denver was really, really cool. So it got me hyped to see like the builders on those big screens. And I was like, I got to get one for mine. Hopefully it's half as cool as these. And I'll be honest, man, I think I got the coolest fucking one in the collection so far. So yeah, really, really stoked about that. And yeah, I picked up a couple pieces of art recently. So
we still have to do that giveaway as well.
Well, and apparently it's there's only like 60 of those hidden faces, I think, in the collection. So it was saying that it's definitely a rare trait. But yeah, it looks amazing, and it's behind you there. It looks great.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to pull up real quick the NFT live tweet for the day to kind of go over some topics that we're going to hit. If you guys could leave a like on this or a comment, you know, you can do whatever you want with the tweet. Once I drop it in the chat, have at it. But we appreciate you guys joining us early today. We just pressed live. We'll go about an hour here today. We'll see if we can keep it short for Jacob there at home, this last episode of the week. But let me find this episode tweet real quick. A couple other housekeeping news pieces. We do have a rebranded NFTGO show coming out on Monday. We're excited to be launching this. It's already recorded. Interestingly enough, the last episode we recorded with NFTGO show though was with you, Ronan. We did an episode together. That was the last NFTGO show on like November 20th or something. Like it must have been forever ago.
Wow, yeah, I remember that was like a week before I got laid off. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that, dude. I bet it felt good to get back in like the saddle of doing like the NFTGO thing. You're good at it. Like you're really, really good at it. Like that's one thing I've always said is like your interviews are always like really well done.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I'm excited to get it off the ground. And once I do get in a good process, I'd love to have you back to see what you're up to here. But guys, if you want to see the tweet, real quick, this is the full announcement, which is that I'm following a lot of the trends in the NFT space, and that is going to be everything you get. This tweet's announcement of an announcement. You can see at the Wild Wild Web _. I'm still working on that. I couldn't get the Wild Wild Web handle. Like someone out there has the wild wild web.
Why wouldn't you just do wild wild web underscore instead of the wild wild web underscore?
I don't know. I think that was taken, honestly.
Stylistic.
Well, I think it was taken. Honestly, I think that was the impetus behind that. But yeah, you can see Ronan the Collector right here. This is going to be live. This first episode is going to be live again on Monday. So if you want to follow, this is going to be almost exclusively here on Spotify from a video and audio standpoint. So you guys can see that episode coming out there on Monday. But just wanted to get that housekeeping piece out of the way. A couple other pieces. What else do we have? I thought I had one more piece. Yeah, here's the NFT live for today. So we're going to cover Pepe, of course, and Coinbase. This says Pepe versus Coinbase, but really we already saw KO in the first round. Elon pumps Milady, and then is the Metaverse dead? We'll kind of cover a little bit of the latest announcements from maybe not even like Web3 Metaverse, but more so the Web2 side with Roblox and their earnings from the past quarter. So got a couple things to cover. Last thing that I had before we get started on this beautiful episode, though, comes from a tweet that GiftDead retweeted this morning, which is one of the best. I mean, we've been having a lot of great songs here on NFT Live, but this might take the cake.
Crypto bros making money making crypto bros making money out of thin air. Crypto bros making money making crypto bros making $1 trillion. Crypto bros making money making crypto bros making money out of thin air. Crypto bros making money making crypto bros making money. They'll accuse the U.S. government of making money out of thin air. Maybe we do, but we're the U.S. government. Making money and crypto bros making money making crypto bros making money out of thin air. Crypto bros making money making crypto bros making $1 trillion. Crypto bros making money making crypto bros making money out of thin air. Crypto bros making money making crypto bros making $1 trillion.
All right. If your mind's not in a blender, what do we think about Representative Sherman here?
That was funny, man.
They'll accuse the U.S. government of making money out of thin air. Maybe we do. But we're the U.S. government. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. This is where we live. It's such a condescending moment. It's just like real. Like, these are the types of things that I feel like, maybe in the past when you didn't have this 24-hour news cycle and so many different outlets and so many different weird things all happening at the same time, like I don't think you would never usually see these types of things said out loud, and it's just like crazy that we see these types of things. Or the other one was, I think it was on 60 Minutes recently where some government agent was on there trying to reassure everybody that your money's fine. If you go to a bank, you'll be able to take it out. And he literally just says, like, don't worry, the Fed has infinite money. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm not sure that we're supposed to be that upfront with the fact that, all of the US dollar supply is just completely made up and manipulated, but
Completely fake money. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a plethora of weird ass news today. So let's dive in to the first episode. Actually, before we do, Gifted, hit us with the handy dandy disclaimer here, because we've been talking a lot of not financial advice on the episodes these days.
I'm glad you brought that up, Q. And I just happen to be actually ready for it this time. So great pitch. I'm going to hit this one out of the park. This is not financial advice, and information was found publicly on the internet. Opinions shared on this episode are solely of the Web3 team. All information is public domain, so please do your own research, because we are not financial advisors.
All right, thank you, sir. That is going to take us into today's first topic, which is going to be Coinbase versus Pepe. This is what we do with our lives here. We cover one of the largest exchanges in the world, has a great, profit earning revenue source from their exchange, all of this stuff, like one of the biggest exchanges in the entire world, going up against what is a literal shitcoin community, I guess. And guess who wins that? Well, in Web3, Pepe wins that, because Coinbase came out and called Pepe a hate symbol. This was in a newsletter to users of their platform. You can see it here. Pepe, which was issued around 3 weeks ago with a comically huge supply of 420 trillion tokens, has been leading the meme coin activity. The token is based on the Pepe the Frog meme, which first surfaced on the internet nearly 20 years ago as a comic strip character. Over time, it has been co-opted as a hate symbol by the alt-right groups, according to the Anti-Defamation League.
But that's not where they stopped. That's not the full context. There's another paragraph underneath that one that basically just kept going in about it being a hate symbol. So like it basically the point is that the way that they positioned Pepe was predominantly just being a hate symbol, which is not at all. That's not the full story at all. That's like it was an icon that was hijacked by some like shitty groups for a little bit. But the intention and the artists are still alive. They can speak to that intention, and it's been reclaimed from some of those shitty actors that wanted to try and make it a hate symbol. That's not what Pepe the Frog is all about. That's just not what it's about. But just because that's part of full transparency. I have Pepe coin, but like just because that's part of the fascinating history that people have tried to apply it to different things, like that is part of the history of it, but making it seem like that is what it is and that's the end all be all of this thing, I think that's where they fucked up. But also the interesting point that we talked about on GM-Web3 is that they didn't have to politicize this, right? If they had just said, hey, it doesn't meet our standards and guidelines, we don't want to list it, they probably would have still had some backlash, but it would not have spun up into this giant, hashtag delete Coinbase situation. They definitely virtue signaled and politicized it and took a very, very sort of like a kind of dishonest stance against it that they didn't need to.
Nick Swervis in the chat. Good to see you, my man. He's saying sup, gents. Prodigy saying coins are dead. Gonna win 3 Lambos from shitcoins. Shilling his bags much. Good to see you here, Prodigy, as well as Sir Billy Choina Nox Darkness here early on today's episode. So I want to open up this question, Ronan. I'll ask you, but I do want to hear from the chat as well. Of course, GIF would not be purchasing Pepe. He thought it was the lead meme of an alt-right movement. Do we think that Pepe has any sort of ties to that movement? And was Coinbase like overstepping here with making that message out to their community?
Yeah, I definitely think they're overstepping. I mean, especially like in the fact that like, I don't know, like that's giving financial advice, isn't it? Like in like a side way, it's like you're literally telling people not to do this thing. So I and with very limited like knowledge of what the thing is. So yeah, I mean, to me though, there's not a thing behind shitcoins. It's just like they gain traction, they don't, you know what I mean? And sometimes that traction is fucking atomic, and sometimes it's like not at all. And so I still like, this morning I honestly tried to sit down and like understand shitcoins a little bit more, and I still like.
This is the conundrum with shitcoins, is that there's nothing to figure out about them. That's the thing. I remember sitting on this show with Crypto Buffalo shilling me Doge, and there's really no fundamental like traditional value when it's applied to that. It's literally just momentum based on narrative at the time, which is, again, GIF was asking me this morning, am I buying? He was actually in the room, but obviously, like, am I buying Pepe? Am I buying Turbo? What's the situation? Because they're down 20%, then they're up 60%, then they're down 50%. Like, it's super volatile. And my answer is, I don't fucking know. Like, I'm already exposed to Turbo, so probably not. But as it continues to dip, the thing that it's fueled by is just momentum. It's just this narrative momentum, and when it loses that like energy, in my opinion, that's where you really, it gets to scary territory, because these things can dump to heavy levels, but they can also pump to fucking ridiculous levels quick.
It's like you were talking about. It's like, looking at like ApeCoin over the last week, it's like it's dropped significantly, right? And like at some point you have to be like, well, fuck, like when do I like exit and make sure I've still got something to be proud of, because it's like when things are good, it's that upward slope. When things are bad, it's like the back slope, and everything's kind of like more of like a downward. So I don't play those games, man. It's just too kudos to those of you who do.
Yeah, Pepe. Pepe actually should see, although the market, to Kamikaze's point, is looking like it wants to take a fat dump again. Pepe should see some actual movement upwards, not financial wise, from something like the Coinbase guy coming out or Coinbase's chief legal officer coming out and saying, "Hey, we're sorry." Like that feels like a positive move for the Pepe wave, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
What do you think, Gif?
I think it's just fascinating. I think it definitely speaks to the power of the community behind this and the power of the frog meme that they are able within like less than 24 hours to get Coinbase to take a hard 180 and like reassess their decisions and actually come out with a public apology. Like no matter what, that's just an absolutely amazing thing that just happened. The other interesting thing that we learned this morning from Big Brain 200 IQ Mr. VGF, who joined us for a little while, that was really cool, is this new word egregore.
Don't bring your GM Web3 vibes onto this NFT live show, okay? Because we had a Looney Tunes conversation here.
He called Pepe an egregore, and I was like, what the heck is that? But an egregore is an occult concept representing a non-physical entity that arises from the collective thoughts of a distinct group of people, which is like, that is absolutely what it is. It's a meme, but it's also an egregore. And then it begs the question, Ronan, and I know you don't want me to get GM Web3 on you, but Ronan, if you had to choose one or the other, would you choose Santa Claus or Pepe?
In what sense? What is he choosing to believe one?
Only one can exist from now on. You have to sacrifice one, and it's gone forever.
Wow.
Santa Claus or Pepe?
Santa Claus.
All right.
Do you not
gives
like
people
Christmas?
hope?
You don't think Pepe gives people hope? All right, whatever. Agree to disagree, Ronan. That's fine.
Real quick, let's finish out this story then. So I've got this tweet here from Kenobi. So this mirrored a lot of people's thoughts right after Coinbase sent out that newsletter. I believe this morning. Was it this morning or last night? This has all happened relatively quickly. But he's saying, I will be closing my personal and business accounts with Coinbase and moving them to Gemini. Pepe is not a symbol of hate. Brian Armstrong, the Pepe community, demands that you retract your vulgar statement about Pepe Coin, delete Coinbase, short coin. I mean, this is getting into Wall Street Bets territory of the power of internet communities because I mean, this is 11:51 a.m. This was while GM Web3 was live. This is the chief legal officer at Coinbase saying, we screwed up and we are sorry. Yesterday, we shared an overview of the Pepe meme coin to provide a fact-based picture of a trending topic. This did not provide the whole picture of the history of the meme, and we apologize to the community. And this is, again, this just symbolizes for me the absolute absurdity of where we, like, you can't wrap your brain around some of the shit that exists in 2023. You can't. Are you okay?
Bro, I'm like, I love this so much because you know what? As much as like these are the things that make you say I hate it here, it's also this shit that like it makes me say I love it here because this is the most ridiculous fucking shit. This is so ridiculous, and it makes me laugh. It's the irony for me. You know what I mean? It's just like, if you try to explain this, 5 years ago to like a sophisticated individual, to like a sophisticated trader / technologist, if you tried to explain this shit 5 years ago to any smart business person, none of it would make any sense at all. It's just so outlandish and far out there. And that's where we are right now.
Some of it to me felt like Coinbase was like, this isn't our like group of individuals that we're kind of going to service here from 2023 on out. Like we're looking at the long tail customer of your mom and pops, the people once Bitcoin comes online for the entire world or the US, what have you. Those are our people. The degens, we know they're not going to buy NFTs from us. They're clearly, on a different type of plane. Maybe we need to bow to regulators a little bit and like side and say, hey, we're the safe place. Look at this Pepe coin. It's so evil. Yeah. And that's what they went with. And then the degens were like, no, fuck you. We're,
Well, that's why I call it virtue signaling, because I think there's absolutely what am I trying to say? Like, there's an agenda behind what they did to try and set themselves up a certain way. But like Nick Swervis over here is making a great point, and that's that like you can't have it both ways. This is why I think, besides the fact that they politicized it and virtue signaled it when they didn't have to, the hypocrisy is what incensed the community so much, and that's that you have projects on there that are way less legit than Pepe probably, or things like Cum Rocket, for instance.
Can you say Cum Rocket on YouTube?
I don't know, but we just said it's just a token. But like the other thing is like, obviously I don't think Bored Ape is some big racist conspiracy. But if you're gonna kind of take that tact where it's like we read into any sorts of negative accusations or things that have happened in the history of a coin, then why would you list something like ApeCoin, right? You could make the exact same argument that you made for Pepe having some kind of maligned individual or association that you could for ApeCoin. And that's what people are pointing out. It's like, look, Ryder Rips just said that ApeCoin is racist. So are you gonna take issue with that? I don't know. Where's the continuity or the clarity around your stance? It seems like you can't really have it both ways.
Yeah, Mike Dudas is go ahead, Ronan.
No, I was just gonna say, I think like that's the biggest issue, right? Like, it's just like, why even put yourself in that position by sharing like that, and like you're clearly taking a stand. I don't know. It's a very weird move, and like, I just wonder like how that went down at Coinbase's side, where it's like somebody was like, hey, we should totally like send this out in our newsletter. And then not like, I don't know, think about that.
It's a fair point. Like, how did this get printed? Did it get passed through Brian Armstrong here, who we've talked about multiple times on the channel, saying he's doing an amazing job on Capitol Hill. He's doing an amazing job that is just like proliferating the good part of crypto, right? The one that is trying to be in some form or fashion rules, like, trying to follow the rules to some extent while still being obviously a Web3 company and offering custody of digital assets. They're trying to somewhat follow the rules. And today it was like, okay, you guys just want to you kind of want to turn coat basically on that. So Mike Dudas is saying, today in crypto, as Brian Armstrong and Coinbase fight for your right to own, trade, and off-ramp crypto in the U.S., a bunch of people are trying to get it canceled because a dumb intern thought Pepe was still a hate symbol and not the fun meme that it is. I mean, I agree with Mike in one sense. Like, we don't need to be throwing too many stones at Coinbase for the work that they have been doing. Like, there's not a lot of real white knights in this industry. And just because, I don't know how it happened at Coinbase, but this guy is an SPF because they put Pepe in a fucking newsletter. So I would caution about throwing too many stones. I agree with Mike on that take.
We still need Coinbase. I agree on that take. I need Coinbase, and that's why I am simultaneously loving that they retracted their malign statement against Pepe and the virtue signaling, and also I'm not canceling my Coinbase account, right? So I can hold these two ideas together simultaneously.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to get into the NFTGO Bag Check because it's going to lead me into the Milady conversation, which I'm not a Milady holder. I mean, it's so weird because we have had the Milady conversation. So Milady's an NFT collection, guys, that has, really done well over the last 24 to 48 hours based on some like micro events like Elon tweeting, but it's done well in general. Outside of like all other NFT collections, outside of Azuki and its derivatives doing pretty well, it's doing well too. And so I want to touch on this Milady piece, but everybody that's come into our spaces on Twitter has said there's some type of like hidden agenda or some type of negative or like nihilistic view that these people, like very dark community is what it's come down to from a mindset standpoint. And yet we haven't heard of any examples. I looked on their Twitter to try to find Twitter spaces to see if there was like a Twitter space that was like named poorly, or I couldn't find any. I don't know if they deleted it. I don't know if it comes from another account. But that's what we're hearing.
I've been hearing this since the jump, and yet I still like nobody's sent me an example. This is what's difficult with these types of like hearsay situations, right? Is like you don't want to miss an important point, and you want to be accurate. But like I've just been hearing anecdotally that they're toxic and shitty, and I'm still kind of like waiting for like what's the proof of how bad they are or something like that. If it does come out though that like what a lot of people have been saying about them is true, it is very dark, and it is kind of scary then that you would get people like Elon Musk promoting them. But again, I don't actually know what's true and what's not. I just know, like you said, Q, that anecdotally there's a lot of really weird kind of dark stuff happening with this community.
Yeah, if you guys have any takes on Milady's or know something that we don't, please let us know. But you can see even over the last month when everything else has been mainly red, an average floor price on April 13th, so almost a month ago here, 1.8, and it's steadily risen. You can see on this floor price 2.7 here at the end of April, and then this major amount of like whale volume here is that red indicator, and then again there's that pop from the news story that just we're about to touch on. So Ronan, do you know Milady at all? Have you seen that project at all? Oh, you're muted.
I'm kind of with you guys in that, like, I think I really have only heard hearsay, like, and I actually like went through like some threads and stuff of like the accusations and things, and I mean, I don't really get like strong positive vibes from it, but I think it's just because like I'm not a huge fan of like the art style and shit. But outside of that, man, yeah, like I'm not a holder. Like I've heard like some things, but it's not something that I've been jumping into, much like any of the other projects at the moment.
All right, we'll jump into the bag check here. Before we do, some positive news. I don't know if you guys can see. That's a Wag Me United hat.
Oh, I was like, what's positive? I got we got some of the merch.
Yeah.
Did you get, we got some merch, and then we got a note that we're not getting all the merch. And they blame it on at all. Because of global shipping. It's been a year since we fucking put this order in, but because of global shipping, we can't get our scarves. More like you mishandled the funds that we fucking put in your pocket, and now you can't afford to fucking give us scarves too, because that shit is expensive compared to even though the hat is quality. I like the hat. I haven't like actually put the jersey on yet, but
the jersey's tight. I gotta
the
get
jersey
Hot Boy
looks
Summer in here.
Looks
it looks
fucking fire.
It looks I mean like tight fitting.
Oh, it's tight on you?
Yes.
Oh.
I was like, oh,
what size did you get?
Large. It's just a tight fitting jersey.
It's just a tight fit.
Yeah.
I did buy. Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, if you're muted.
So they promised scarves, and then they just said after a year of waiting for these and expecting it, you're not actually getting those scarves.
Look, give them a break. They stayed up. Maybe we'll get our scarves when they get promoted.
Is there an update on that, Q? Like what's going on with the community? No, but I mean, like, is there excitement? Are people happy that the NFT ownership is still there? Are they still angry that they didn't perform well and trying to like get rid of the new ownership? What is the sentiment or the current status of the team? I would say
the sentiment around what's happening at Crawley Town is the same sentiment you'll see regardless if the ownership was in Web3 or not. Like they just got, they just stayed up. They just barely missed relegation. And so usually people are still kind of uneasy, but I'm sure like in the very short term, everybody's like, hey, we made it. That's a good rebound, all that good stuff. But I don't think it has anything to do with like Web3 owners or anything like that. I think any owners would be under like severe scrutiny in that sense.
Yeah,
it's
going to be interesting.
There's going to be a Wrexham versus Crawley Town game next year. That's going to be exciting.
That's what I was just going to say. Like, I guess like that means they play Crawley or Wrexham, right?
Should we go? Cool. Should we plan a trip?
I want to go to
Wrexham
Crawley Town
versus Wagme. That'd be fucking fun.
Yeah. Look, I didn't want to go to Crawley Town in this like 6-month window because they probably shoot us if we like showed up with like the Wagme United, like, hey, I'm a Web3 bro.
We're just like walking around downtown with signs that say "When Floor." Yeah. Oh my god.
Like I bought Bitcoin.
It says
they
like,
probably be like fuck you.
the note says like, wear your founder's kit with pride. It's like, not if I'm in Crawley Town.
Nope. That's how you get jumped by the hooligans. Here we go. Hey, before we get to the NFTGO bag check, this was the NFTGO bag check of our era, folks. I mean, Tropo Farmer's coming out with the simpler times post. Do you guys remember this? It was Zeneka's spreadsheet. And I know I can't really zoom in too much, but this brought back some nostalgia. This says CryptoPunks 15.9, VFriends at 4, Bored Ape Yacht Club at 3. I mean, this is some these are some fun times. You remember this, Ronan or GIF?
Absolutely.
Is
That's
this what this
crazy. I'm just
shows?
looking through all the prices.
I feel like we're too young and this show's not old enough for us to be turning it into a nostalgia playback
Dude,
show where we're like, hey, remember
This was like 10 years
At
ago.
3.
this is I mean, to be fair, this is like at least 15 crypto years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see this much, but I would love to see, like, is there anything on here where that just stands out as being holy shit, that ended up being like a full-on rug or like a slow rug? Hashmass is on here. I'm not saying they're a rug, but they're not. They're obviously not doing too well.
I remember Wicked
Bonsai
Craniums.
trees?
Wicked Craniums like had a moment and then just kind of disappeared.
What was the
Wicked Craniums, I
bonsai
feel
tree?
like oh man, you don't remember the bonsais?
I remember bonsai.
That was a sad one, dude. The bonsai trees was my mom's first NFT and it tanked.
I got Arabian camels on here.
Gutter Cat Gang at the top down there.
Super Yetis.
Had to be.
I think you could probably buy a Super Yeti for more, or I think the floor is higher than that right now. Well, probably not right now, actually. But it definitely grew to be higher than that.
Yeah, Gutter Cat Gang down here, he's got it searched by 24-hour change. It was pumping back then. It was a 0.74, like almost a 1% pump on the Gutter Cat floor. Got it to the top. What a
And it's
time.
every 24 hours, man. That's amazing.
All right, well, let's get out of that and get into what we're dealing with today, which is a market sentiment of 31. We're still in 30-day profits and losses. Blue chip index looks great, doesn't it, folks? Against ETH, it looks phenomenal. No, it really doesn't. So over 30 days, we've kind of fallen off a cliff here in early May, but we're pumping there at the end of April. That's against ETH. Let's check it against USD. So we've fallen there as well on that side. Obviously, Bored Apes fell below. I mean, they got close to a 40 ETH floor, I think. I think they touched it over the last 48 hours. Market cap and volume over the last 30 days. You can see a little bit of an increase here in volume. I think that probably was what is that Milady's potentially. There's probably some other pieces that kind of drove that up here on the 10th and 11th. Against USD, not as much of a market cap switch there. Let's go down to collections and distributions here by volume. The last 7 days, Mutants, Milady, Bored Ape, Azuki, Wrapped CryptoPunks, DeGods, Redacted, Remelia, Babies. This is where we're at. Pudgy Penguins, the Captains, and Lo-Fi Pepe. And then over the last 24 hours, it's going to be Milady, of course, taking over the top spot. Bored Ape Yacht Club, Mutant Apes, Pudgies, Azuki, Wrapped CryptoPunks, Meebits coming up with their huge announcement.
Let's go.
The Captains and Bored Ape Kennel Club. So, yeah, I mean, this is any takes on this volume by collection?
I mean, obviously, Milady is just like mind blowing, but
Yeah, Milady in 24 hours had almost 5,000 ETH.
that's insane, dude. That is a perfect like snapshot of like the sentiment at the moment, right? Like one little thing is going to go nuclear whenever it can because people are really chasing those profits.
It's also the power that Elon still holds, right? I mean,
What was his tweet exactly about Milady?
It was just a meme. It was just a meme of a Milady meme saying this is not a meme.
So I'll pull that up right now, actually. But let's get to the comment section here. Prodigy saying in Web3, 6 months equals 5 to 8 normal years. Just saying. Marty's talking about that viral tweet that the apes. I feel like the BAYC community right now is like doing little like mini viral tweet meme kind of movements every probably like week now. They're just like kind of trying to keep them relevant in a sense. You got to take their GIF.
I mean, you're right, and that's part of like how you cope with the fact that the floor is like a third of where it was a year ago. It's still like one of the highest floors than anything, and I think they will bounce back. But yeah, it's this is yeah. Anyway, I'm sad that I don't have an ape right now, but this is why I moved my liquidity out, because I felt like it was going to keep going with that trend for a while.
Wow, Choina. I remember NFT Live was streaming when Super Yetis dropped, and we were all minting and talking about it in the chat. And then says my Yetis are cozy in my hidden folder.
Yeah, why? I rock those Yetis with pride, my guy. Those Yetis are valuable. They're icons of this whole Web3 world and movement that we're in.
They tried to make that comeback a year later with the land thing. Remember that?
Which land thing?
The fucking Yeti land sale and whatever, because like they were actually going to make a game this time. Anybody heard from Super Yetis in a minute?
They're active. They are active on Twitter. Yeah.
They are. Hey, they're still there. You know, I think that like long term, like it's going to be interesting to see like where those projects are, right? Because like I feel like Super Yeti is one of the ones that like got in early. They had like a really great like launch. And I feel like, I don't know, so don't quote me on this, but I feel like they're actually one of those teams that just shut up and went to work. And, you know, I think long term, those guys are going to win, right? Like, so it'll be interesting, you know, just to see like what it looks like. And, you know, do the early NFTs really matter that much? What do they mean? Like, you know, so I'm so interested in like what this whole thing looks like in fucking 10 years, man.
The Yetiverse? You're interested in what the Yetiverse
looks
like in 10 years?
The whole thing, like NFT, like where are NFTs at? Like how often are like they actually being used? Like what are the like the
here's a hot take.
What's the punks version of
I feel like Yetis don't utilize their memeability enough. I feel like they should lean into it as heavy as humanly possible. Like they're a meme.
Yeah, like they still kind of take themselves a little too seriously.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Like nobody's buying you because the art is fucking fantastic and they think that like the Yetiverse is gonna be an awesome place to hang out. That's not
stupid. Yeah. Like their land, all it does is remind me of Soul City. So let's go to a different page.
Yeah, bro. That was a. Why does everyone have to cut out their piece of land? Like, why does that make?
I know, right? Like, why can't I get like a landscape view and like a real pretty fucking portrait or some shit of what my land's gonna look like?
Yeah,
because it's not. I mean, anyway, whatever. Land, digital land. We got duped.
What the hell is Sedona?
Some dumb.
All right,
Web3 simplified.
Let's get all right. Let's jump back into where we were, which was Milady's. So this was the actual tweet. So you know, I think Kamikaze is actually saying it correct. First, he liked a tweet that Grimes had used a Milady as. Okay, so Grimes is here. Obviously, there was a comment there, and I guess Elon liked this. I hate my job sometimes. I hate that I'm talking about this shit like this. Look at Elon liking a tweet by his ex.
We can talk about other things.
Okay, TMZ.
Okay, so this is the tweet, folks. He actually came out with the tweet. This was on May 10th. So this was yesterday, I believe.
So he just stole his ex's like meme to basically like publicly like still like communicate, and the winner was the Milady's.
Yes. Accurately said.
So wait, so there's a case here that he has no idea about.
1,000%, man. The man's got. Look, we all know like he's super duper intelligent, but we also know he's also probably on the spectrum, right? Like he has no fucking clue, like what the hell he's doing. He took the shit and he tweeted it and he moved the fuck on, and then like damn degens did what degens do.
See,
dude. They
this
convince
is-
people that
I get a
they should-
real Beeple vibe from all of this stuff. It's like people try to give Beeple a pass, but I think I take the opposite view. I think Elon does know what Milady's are, and he's like, I don't know if he has like people that he's helping or what.
He's got a bag of Miladies, and he's
don't
like, "Oh, this is
know.
the perfect opportunity."
Not him, but like some of his whatever,
His
even like a
people?
chat group or something. I'm sure he has like little chat groups he's in, just like we do.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
See-
watch this. I'm gonna fucking tweet a Milady tonight.
See, I
And
thought
Zuck is like, "Do it, bro. I just fucking loaded up."
Maybe not Zuck.
no, like I thought initially I thought he absolutely like was doing it on purpose, like trolling. And now that I see that it's a response to Grimes, I'm not sure.
That's why I think it's not. That's why I think it's not.
Maybe he literally was just being dumb. But the thing is, like, he didn't have to tweet that though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like he's pretty calculated. I feel like he's pretty calculated with his
I feel like
trolling.
he just took like the picture and then tweeted it because he's like, just like I would do, just like some fucking high school kid would do with their like ex-girlfriend, like take a fucking tweet and like, repurpose it. It's interesting,
Yeah, DBs absolutely will flip Milady by 2023. That's a fact.
I'm not saying that Elon is actually flipping these himself. I'm saying that he's like, hey, you guys want to make a couple
His
hundred
Telegram
grands?
group. His Telegram group is like, bro,
Okay.
you know what I forgot about? Miladies. And I got a bag. At Elon, can you fucking tweet about Miladies tonight, bro?
Yeah. No, I think Prodigy's like, yo, he's like, hold my beer, watch this. Like, I think that he does that for
Somebody
sure.
needs to make one of those
Laughs in my name.
TikTok, those AI TikTok fucking shorts with Elon, Zuck, and fucking I don't know what's the dude SBF in a fucking group chat and like laughing about shit like that.
Dude,
have you seen those TikToks? Those TikToks are the gaming ones. They're hilarious with like Obama and Mark Zuckerberg playing Call of Duty and shit.
Dude, SBF was physically playing League of Legends on
League of
multiple
Legends.
occasions. Like he was getting like disposed
While he was
and-
doing interviews.
This is
I think somebody
world, man.
said, I saw an article that said that like even during this whole thing, he's still been pretty consistently fucking losing Elo in League.
You know what the craziest thing is? There's not much more Elo to lose. He's in like bronze, which is like your 12-year-old brother could be in bronze and Prodigy. So
Oh yeah, because fucking what was it? The chick, that chick, she flexed on him. I saw that too.
she was a higher rank than him.
He was a higher rank than he is. The government. I always forget. What is her name? What's
you're
her
talking about
acronyms? She's got
Caroline.
acronyms too. No, not Caroline. It was somebody in chat could probably tell me. Like, it was the chick who's in like fucking Congress or some shit, and she like tweeted and she's like, the best thing that came out of COVID was like I have a
AOC?
higher AOC. I told you it was an acronym. Yeah, where she's like, was the best part was that I
No
came out of
way.
it with a higher ranking than SBF, and she fucking posted a picture. She was like silver
No
and he was
fucking way.
fucking bronze or something. I swear to God.
looking
Swear to
this
God.
up.
She literally has a tweet where she says that was the best thing that came out of COVID was her fucking league rank.
Of all the shitty, fucked up things that SBF is responsible for, of all the fuckery and the lies and the effective altruism and all of that, nothing makes me like him less than the fact that he plays League of Legends as much as he does, and he has a low rank. So
And
this
his
is the
rank
thing.
so low.
This is the thing that makes me dislike him the most.
Said by a fucking top tier Rocket League player who dedicates time and fucking knows what's up when it comes to competitive gaming.
Look, if you're gonna play an esport competitively and play it like consistently and try
play
and,
League of
like,
Legends.
like you literally can't even take time off of League of Legends to do an interview and be respectful to the people on the interview, but you're ranked fucking bronze, bro. I can't take you serious.
Oh.
Speaking
Oh
of,
my
I
God,
I
this
know
is
like last time
real.
we brought up Rocket League, I was like, hey, I told you, dude, I told you. And then she
What?
literally, that's not even the one I'm talking about. There's another one where she quotes SBF like as a bronze player and then shows a screenshot of her silver and
There's
says,
no way
like,
she's silver.
you're getting dunked on, dude. She's known for doing like Twitch streams. Like that's part of how she engages with younger constituents.
Smart.
Yeah.
I gave up on Rocket League, by the way.
All right.
I'm now hella deep in.
I'm putting this back on the rails. We got to get this train moving. So Milady's over the last 20. Oh, okay. Milady's over. So we spent the last 10 minutes talking about League of Legends and wasted those 10 minutes. We could have gotten Ronan's keen insights.
I bet they enjoyed that better than the Yuga show.
Shit. Goddamn.
Wow.
Okay, Ronan's out of here.
Wow.
I just booted him.
See you later, guys.
Milady is taking up the top spot. Again, I think they like doubled in floor price over the last 24 to 48 hours. Redacted Remelia Babies looks like it's some type of like derivative.
Milady derivative, yeah.
Nakamigos over 0.2 still. Meebits saw a little bit of some. You got something on that? On that Nakamigos front?
Maybe my Nakamigos buy wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
It was Nakamigos this whole time.
Here it comes.
Pudgy Penguins, Meebit saw a little bit of I don't even want to call it a pump. Oh God, we lost Ronan. Hey Ronan, did you see the actual Meebits announcement? By the way, did you see the Meebits? I don't even know what they called it. Moods.
No.
Okay. Hey, did you see the Doodles 2 Studio?
Yes, saw Doodles 2.
Okay.
I didn't really deep into it, but I saw Doodles 2. I didn't realize that Meebits had done something.
Okay, so we're making the analogy to a Doodles 2, I guess, without a lot of context, and I don't really want to waste the last minute we have you here, kind of looking through Meebits, but what
do you do with the what is it? TLDR? Is it like you get to make them emote or some shit?
Yes.
Emotes, essentially. That's what it sounds like.
Really, really high-end 3D emotes.
Okay.
Well, you know what? I'll give you a 30-second look at what the hell you can do with it.
It is a cool website. This is a cool execution, but like the challenge is, where is this actually integrated and who really cares?
So there's also sound. Give me 2 seconds.
We got sound.
So apparently, Ronan, and I just gave you a little bit of a look, but apparently it changes the metadata as well on like a platform like OpenSea. So it like actually changes what your Meebit looks like on OpenSea. Does this move the needle at all? And did Doodles 2 move the needle for you at all?
No, but like I get what they're trying to do, right? Like I get where they're going with it. I think like long term, like there's plans and that makes sense, but like it doesn't really get me excited. But unfortunately, I do got to jump, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll be back next week.
Later, dude.
Later, guys.
Wag me, maybe.
You don't sound very united in that chant. Yeah, where is Chungos? Where is Chungos? Chungos volume is down, and they're just out there. They're
just out there building.
They're just out there building in the Chungle.
Tell me this chart isn't about to be what I think it's about to look like. Tell me it's not like a straight. Okay. Got it.
I'm still hodling a bag of Chungos. We'll see.
At some point, I think I was calling Chungos to 1 ETH. Wasn't I calling Chungos to 1
Absolutely. You were like, this is next 1 week from today, this is gonna be at 1 ETH, fam. You were so sure. You were so sure.
I was in the euphoria of open editions, though. That's the thing. Like we were in a positive momentum of open editions. It only got to, hold on. What did Chungos? What's the highest Chungos got to? 0.2.
Yeah, it was like sitting around 0.15, 0.2, and you're like, it's going to an ETH, fam. And I was sitting there with a bag, like, oh, whoa, we'll pump the brakes. I was like, I hope so, but I didn't even buy into that. But yeah, Choina out here saying, is Elon just the king of trolls? When you can have anything you want or need, I'm sure life can get dull, and you just need to do something to get your kicks. I kind of think that is part of it. Like the guy has a sense of humor, and he's not really afraid to just kind of like I feel like a lot of in the past eccentric billionaires just haven't had Twitter. And this is what it looks like to have an eccentric billionaire with a sense of humor. it's just kind of a new thing. Like society's not used to having like what was his name? Howard Hughes. Like imagine if Howard Hughes had Twitter. What kind of weird shit would that guy have been posting?
Probably weird shit.
Weird shit, I'm sure. Right? We just didn't have Twitter until recently. And now people are understanding that like you can kind of troll on it and get away with a lot, you know? I just think it's a fascinating new paradigm to have an eccentric billionaire with a Twitter account that's not afraid to use it.
I don't want to dive down some type of like philosophical rabbit hole, but it is interesting that we've moved more away from the brands and entities and more into individuals as brands. Like that's what the power is, right? It's not so much about SpaceX, although that's really cool. Like everyone's following SpaceX because fuck it, we want to go to the moon and Mars. But it's more about Elon than it is about any product he's actually building.
Maybe. Like, yeah. I think you're making a fair point. I don't know that without Tesla, SpaceX, Boring Company, and all of his and PayPal and all of his massively successful brands and companies that he has built and those platforms that people would give nearly as much of a care. No. I mean, he wouldn't be as wealthy in the first place.
Yes. Yeah. I think I maybe didn't speak clearly enough. Like people don't really care as much about it. Like in the 50s, they cared more about what CNN had to say. You know what I mean? It was like It was more about like what the big brands had to say, and it's less about that now than ever before. It's more about the individual. Either Tucker Carlson's another great example. Like people are rebelling against Fox News in aligning themselves more with the influencer or the creator or whatever you want to call him, the individual that was on Fox News, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And there's that, I mean, the whole movement towards really it's a movement towards decentralized media. We've been seeing that happen over the course of social media, especially over the last like 5 to 10 years with influencers commanding audiences large enough to rival any sort of traditional media outlets. The new media and the new brands are coming through social media influencers. And yeah, is it good or bad to have that much focus on an individual? I would say it can be pretty awful for a lot of reasons, but
it's in media, it should be the individuals, right? Like individual reporting is probably, way more or way less focused on censorship than when you like conglomerate all these media I guess stories and all this stuff. We see what happens when it's all on a few platforms. They try to take the news and change it towards their bias. Whereas individuals, you can follow which ones maybe affirm your bias. Now that's a problem, right? Because you're going to follow the people that say the things that you want. But if you're more open-minded, you can find individual reporters that are more objective.
Yeah, Quantum Baron saying it's the niche over the mainstream revolution. Yeah, to your point, Q, one of the downsides is the filter bubbles that these platforms allow you to exist in.
Yeah.
And also with so much fracturing of the narratives, it becomes tremendously hard to actually divine truth from falsehood or reality from fantasy. Actually, an interesting side tidbit to this, AIs are basically just pulling from existing source material, not really generating or creating new things. And one of the things that a lot of people fall into is they don't realize that when they're asking questions, a lot of times it's just making up fantasy things based on like nonsense on the internet. But you can actually prompt the AI when you are asking it questions saying facts only, make sure that this is not nonfiction. Like you can add in certain parts to your prompts to try and direct the AI to make sure that it's not just pulling in a bunch of nonsense. So that might be an interesting, important thing, for y'all to do if you're using AI a lot, just making sure that however you're applying it, you're maximizing the truth and not just creating more nonsense in the world. So I don't know. We're going off on a weird tangent here.
Well, Quantum
But-
Variant saying it's the niche over the mainstream revolution. Kevin Tactaddy said, I was an influencer Web2 in the gun world for a decade. It's AIDS. Pudgy Penguin says Pudgy, or Prodigy says Pudgy Penguins did 829 ETH volume in 24 hours. Pudgy's held up extremely well. I think if you look at like a quote unquote community, we use that term almost like too much again. It is a meme in this space to use that term as much as people do. But they do have a strong group that are behind that collection for sure, which is not what I think that a lot of people would have bet behind maybe even 6 months ago to a year.
Maybe. I think you might be right on that. I also think though, like Pudgy's took off pretty quickly. Like from the beginning of Pudgy Penguins, they were actually surprisingly successful. Like I definitely think initially I was shocked. It was one of those that I was like,
well, Cole
what?
was behind it, and people were like, "This sucks," you know.
Yeah, I like it's another one like Sappy Seals. Like I didn't really think Sappy Seals would have that much longevity. I actually had several Sappy Seals that I flipped pretty early on. But Sappy Seals are still a thing too.
Yeah, Kevin, the tech guy saying the 400K people in NFTs that chase this shit is becoming embarrassing. I think he's talking about Milady there. He's also saying I forged artifacts. Did you guys get any? Did you forge end up? No. Okay.
No, sir.
Sitting on the hands. Hey,
yeah. Well, Kevin also saying that it's just like a bunch of squirrels running around, I think, over here.
It's already winter, so if you're trying to collect acorns now, good luck.
Yeah.
Hey, on that point, NFT statistics had some good things to point, not good things, but he actually did it, of course, in his like really good visualizations. He said fresh new wallets buying ETH NFTs for the first time is down to the levels from May and June of 2021. That was like the highs, I believe. I think that was like the highs in NFTs, right? Like that May time period, maybe a little bit before, was like the
what?
Like the first May to June 2021. I'm trying to get my like timelines correct. That was like the real boom for NFTs. It's fresh new wallets buying ETH NFTs for the first time was down.
That was right before it boomed. That was like the time to get in. If you got in, in like April, March.
The blow off the top was fall of 21, it looks like. Then we saw a little bit in 2022 as well. That was when this was like Coinbase commercial time frame right here. We saw the final kind of pump there, and then it's been solid downward since. But he's saying yesterday just got a small boost from Elon, about 800 new wallets, first prior days of 500 to 600. So it's not looking good on the new wallet front. For the at least Ethereum community. I know there's a ton of other protocols that have NFT trading. Arbitrum's one of them. Solana, of course. But I mean, that's not good news. It's more of the same that we have been seeing, though. That chart goes straight kind of down on the new wallet front, which indicates adoption, right? Of trying to like have new adoption for what we're doing here.
Yeah. I'm also over here reading some interesting developments around this whole BRC20 Bitcoin ordinal situation. It looks like there are Bitcoin devs starting to be seriously concerned and wanting to like actually cancel Bitcoin NFTs now.
Here's a question that I'll wrap up regarding both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Right now, we're covering ETH and covering the ETH gas as a story, right? As a hey, this is kind of annoying, like this is like people can't do things. We had Jeff Jag have his collection launch right in the middle of like the highest gas we've seen in a while. When does it get to the point where it's like, holy shit, this needs to stop? And then at what point we can't stop it, like if it stays in these levels for a long period of time outside of just maybe like a 7 to 14 day window, it's like, wow, this is actually like systemic in a sense. And I think maybe Bitcoin is thinking that Bitcoin devs are thinking the same on Bitcoin.
Yeah, it is a problem. These are the problems that, upgrades and technological advancements are supposed to help solve, which is the scalability issues that these networks face. They are systemic issues. Like, uh, yeah, I guess I don't really know how to answer the question. It's kind of just like, I think maybe it continues to sort of speed up the adoption of layer twos or other
I think that you're right.
other protocols for other reasons. So, things like, you know, Cardano, which we kind of joke around a lot about, like maybe this is where Cardano actually starts to get some traction. No, but like if NFTs are over there and people are having a better experience trying to buy, collect, and sell over there, like maybe more people start to go to Cardano. I do think, one of the things that we were talking about in that annual crypto state of the crypto industry report from A16Z is that the amount of Ethereum volume moving over to layer twos is increasing, and that's a trend that will increase. So maybe it speeds up that trend, right? So maybe layer twos start to take on more volume more quickly, because this is the problem that layer twos are supposed to solve, right? It's one of the main issues of why you have layer twos. It's for scalability and speed and cheaper transactions. So yeah, how do we start to use layer twos more effectively or more commonly, so I'm not spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on gas all the time?
And it's one of those questions that gets more pertinent when Ethereum is at these gas levels. That's the thing. We've had layer twos for 2 years, 3, 4 years that have been trying to build, sustainable platforms. But it's only in times of extremely high gas that it becomes like, oh shit, we need this stuff. Right? Because quantum variance asking, wait, so more people using the network is bad? And the response I'd probably have to that is not all usage is the same. And we see what it's doing to NFTs. This is why I'm asking the question, is this systemic? Because people do not want to trade NFTs right now because they're losing more on gas when they're either minting, when they're buying, selling, trading, all that stuff. It's leading to people using this technology for NFTs to actually lessen. Now, the increase in shitcoin trading, maybe you could say that's not a bad thing overall that people are using the network, but it's clearly having a negative effect on people trying to use this stuff for NFTs, for higher value assets. It's driving it down. Nobody wants to actively trade this stuff.
Yeah, and then of course quantum variant coming in with the other side of this whole conversation, which is kind of the irony too, is that the value of a network is based upon its utility and the amount of people that want to use that network.
Yeah. But again, I just responded to it. Like it's not in ways that we at least benefit. Not I wouldn't say benefit, but like benefit from like people getting into NFTs. That's what I mean. Like people the usage of NFTs, it does not benefit us for this type of usage. So I agree in the theory that, hey, more people are using this network, but they're not using it to buy NFTs. They're not using it to enter and to, have activity in that sector. So is it using it in this way? I would say yes. It is bad for NFT folks that gas is this high. It is.
Well, especially artists and art collectors, right? Like we know that. Like most people
part of NFTs.
are not. Yeah. I agree. I just shared in the chat the development on the Bitcoin side of BTC devs. And so somebody over here who was it? Kamikaze. Basically what Kamikaze said, they're pushing for a BRC20 filter. So yeah, apparently this is from like maybe like a Reddit or some kind of thread with Bitcoin devs saying that action should have been taken months ago. Spam filtration has been a standard part of Bitcoin Core since day one. It's a mistake that the existing filters weren't extended to Taproot transactions. We can address that or try a more narrow approach like op return, i.e. what Ortis respect. I mean, this is in the weeds, but since this is a bug fix, it doesn't really even need to wait for a major release we already have pruning. It's not an alternative to spam filtering. So anyway, these are BTC devs getting into the weeds about like how to address what's going on with BRC20s and Bitcoin Ordinal protocol. What happens? Let us know in the chat. Like, what happens if the Bitcoin devs put a filter on it? What does that mean? You know what I mean? Does that just mean that you can no longer do it and they're all dead? Or does that mean that the ones that were created before the filter are still able to be traded and then become more valuable because they're like the only ones that will ever exist based upon this new development? Like,
I see. It's funny because I think you're trying to get into the Bitcoin ecosystem a little bit more.
trying to understand it.
You're trying to understand it, whereas I'm trying to figure out how this affects the Ethereum ecosystem. I know you're trying to do that too. Don't get me wrong, but this is where my mind is shifting. Is ETH gas and the levels that we are at right now is not sustainable for the entire ecosystem. Asmodai is asking, is this not what ZK rollups was supposed to help with? Gas used in side chains to verify on ETH. So we've had the ETH 2.0 question as well. Like, didn't this ETH 2.0 move or upgrade, isn't that supposed to help with gas fees? And, I think from a very, very layman standpoint, it changed the consensus model, but it didn't necessarily change the amount of gas that's paid. Obviously, like, we're sitting here dealing with fucking gas. Like, you can see that it's not that much different in times of high usage than it was when it was on proof of work. So I think future upgrades are planned to handle the scalability side. This was a consensus change from proof of work to proof of stake. I just don't think that they handled the scalability on this upgrade.
Yeah, which that affects the impact of the power consumption, right? It doesn't affect the cost to maintain and validate the network, I guess.
Yes, I think that in very, very like layman's terms, that's what they did. And I think everyone was saying ETH 2.0, erroneously they were saying this is going to handle gas, and I think we can tell right now that ETH 2.0 is not handling gas. Well,
definitely not. 150 Gwei.
It's so crazy to me because prior to May 1st, so at the end of April, we're still in this bear market. Like, we're still in the bear market, but this like even exacerbated it farther. Like, that's what's crazy to me is like, how long is this going to last?
More liquidity keeps getting burned, right? I mean, it's simultaneously like you think about how it's
ETH.
Yeah, you think about like it being deflationary, and so that's like kind of good. You're like, hey, shit. But like, if you're transacting a lot and you're just burning more of your liquidity every single time, like that's bad for NFTs and, to your point, collectors and people in the space. And yeah, I think the Gwei has been this high for now, like the last couple of weeks because of meme coins. How long can it go? To your point, before it starts having a real toll, maybe we're already seeing that.
We are.
Yeah, the macros need to shift at some point, I think, for things to really start to like move differently. Because to your point, the whole market and the macros and everything is just not good right now.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're sitting on 200 plus ETH, like right now, or 100 plus ETH, like that's fine. Like, ETH is deflationary. Again, we love that narrative. Like, if you're sitting on a huge bag of fucking ETH, you're going to do well. I'm specifically talking about us sitting up here talking about NFTs and saying NFTs are not sustainable in this environment. It's that simple. Like, I just think we've been covering it each day, and each day there's no end to it, and that leads to even further cycles downward. It's kind of crazy, man. But Hashround is saying dank sharding is supposed to reduce gas when it's rolled out. ETH 2.0 is a process. Great point there. Dead Polar is saying that Gwei is bonkers. Asmodai is saying if this high gas caused by MEV bots, then maybe the next ETH upgrade to MEV burning might reduce MEV demand. Problem with layer 2s is that they aren't interoperable between layers and bridges aren't secure and need a scalable level 1. That goes against my knowledge of how Polygon interacts within the Ethereum virtual machine. So that's way... we're getting in the weeds now, but I thought the whole idea of having the layer 2 associated with, or the sidechain associated with EVM, would handle those interoperable features. Not much ETH or not much NFT trading happening on ETH. That's exactly my point. I'm like, this is driving away people from being active in NFTs. So if it lasts for another 2 months, it's like, holy fuck. Like,
Yeah. And then quantum variance thrown in here that layer 0 can help with bridging assets, apparently. So that's interesting. Isn't that what Polkadot is? I don't know how many layer zeros there are. Anyway, don't know that much about layer 0. Not going to lie.
all right, we're going to get into the last news piece of the day, which is that Roblox saw an increase in users surging 22% to new peaks despite fading metaverse hype. Mike Dudas also tweeted about this, so he's making a double appearance on today's show. Roblox sold 774 million of digital currency tokens in Q1 to 66 million active users. But yes, the metaverse is dead and no one will pay for digital goods. So again, revenue there 774 million versus 766 million expected. Let's see, average daily active users 66 million, up 22% year over year. Engagement hours totaled 14.5 billion year over year. So this coinciding with the stories that we've talked about with Counter-Strike too, GIF, where there's like major Counter-Strike assets being bought up for like 6 figs at this point. And it's very clear, and I think you touched on it on the Web3 Morning Show, and I agree with that thesis. It's like, it's something that's going to be here soon, asterisk on the soon. Because you're like, when is this actually going to take place? I think we all understand that the metaverse isn't dead. The idea, as you can see with Roblox, it's not going to die. It's only going to continue to increase in adoption. With the caveat being, how long can you wait for this all to kind of be built and kind of roll out in front of us?
Yeah, I just think that a lot of us here are very early and we see the potential for where all this stuff goes and the technology and the trends, but that doesn't mean that you can just make it happen overnight. I'm still optimistic that Mark Zuckerberg's bet on the metaverse is actually going to pay off long term. I think in the short term, they invested very quickly and didn't get immediate results, and it might have been too early, and the product market fit might not have been there with this iteration, but they've got more hardware and software expertise and more data now and more tests on this shit. I don't know, man. I just think it's still a little bit early for metaverse. But if you look at, again, what are all the trends of, amount of screen time, like gaming, tech adoption, digital identities, blockchain integration, all these fucking things, man. It's like it all points to one direction, and that is us spending more time in these digital worlds and using devices and platforms. So whether that's going to be headsets, I don't know about that. I think it is definitely going to be much more heavily AR mediated in the near future. And so, maybe that could be a smart pivot for them, is like, figuring out how to focus a little bit more energy there in the meantime before, instead of on the expensive headset type stuff and like the full VR. But I don't know. What's the point? The point is we're going to keep seeing, I think, more of these types of stats and more different types of headlines that kind of point to like, look, even despite, metaverse seeming to be dead or NFT gaming, companies failing, you're going to keep seeing these types of stats where it's like, hey, look, there's actually a lot more people playing these open world games. There's actually more people, that are using these different, devices. There's more screen time. I don't know.
I feel like metaverse also has a verbiage issue. Like we keep talking about it on the show as well, like big M metaverse, small M metaverse. Like the idea of what is a metaverse is lost on everyone. Everyone has their own interpretation of what that means.
And it might be one of those things similar to NFT that like it's been fudded or misused so hard that you've got to come up with the digital collectible version. Like what is the palatable, accessible rebrand for metaverse? You know what I mean? And it needs to speak more to what is just the everyday use case and value that the end user gets out of that thing, right? So it could just be something like like Google Hangout or whatever that is, like Hang or like
Yep.
something like that just kind of speaks to what's the point of this platform in this virtual world and why I'm going to use it every day. I don't know, man. Yeah, Metaverse has a branding problem, just like NFT does, and we've talked a lot about that. To your point about like the problem with the way that people misuse it to just describe these different virtual worlds and these disparate experiences and platforms. To me, it's the Metaverse is just this whole digital experience that we're being consumed slowly by.
Yeah. I agree with that take. Hey, the mic phone like kind of like did something weird there in the last 5 minutes. I don't know if you're losing battery on your AirPods or what.
I'm not using my AirPods.
Oh, there you
That's
go.
weird.
There you go. I think you just had to
Maybe
step
I
into
just
it.
gotta be closer.
Yo, this is gonna be a wild stat. So Ralph Quintero, who writes the Daily Ralpha every morning, put out a quote tweet on NFT Now's data piece here, data tweet. Ethereum gas fees overview. January 5th, 3 million. May 5th, 32 million. That is bonkers. From the increase that you see in 1 month, even from April 5th on 7.7 million in gas fees to 32 million in May. And we're not even, that's over 1 month. So what we'll see when this says June 5th will be very interesting because we're still sitting here in this environment where there's extremely high gas fees. This is nuts. Feels
That's
unsustainable
crazy.
to me, man. Feels unsustainable at these levels.
Probably is. Asmodai throwing in a great point, which is kind of maybe a better articulation of what I'm trying to say. So Asmodai is saying, recent on Cyber NFT conference went well. The tools for Metaverse are still developing. Yes, it's all being developed in real time. It's kind of like one of those things, like it's not there until it's there. You know what I mean? Like we're
very slow than all at once.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Like, and that's how I feel like it's going to be like with Metaverse and with gaming and all of this type of stuff, and probably phygital too, like Amazon, like something's going to come along that has that product market fit and just like blend, like within a fucking week, you're going to be like, oh, it all fucking makes sense all of a sudden. Like people get it and it works. And that's what you're going to see happen at some point.
No, I love it. I love it. All right, folks, this is going to be the end of the episode here. We said we'd leave it short for Jacob there because he wants to have a nice weekend. So no speakeasy tonight. We do have, and before we go, I do want to point out a couple different links that you guys need to visit because we do have that one-on-one interview style podcast that is launching, the Wild Wild Web, where I sit down with different thought leaders and pioneers in the Web3 industry every week. I'm going to try to get to 2 times a week. Like if we get this rolling, we get the processes rolling. It's not easy what we do every day. I know it feels like it, but having all the processes set up so I can release 2 episodes a week would be great. And we get to have leaders from all of these different products that we talk about daily. Like we're sitting up here talking about a bunch of different products here in the Web3 space and a lot of industry leaders. Let's actually sit down with them for 45 minutes, and really dig in to who they are, what they're building. So excited for the Wild Wild Web. Gif, you have any takes while I get that link set up for people?
I'm excited for the Wild Wild Web, my guy. I'm super excited. We've been talking about this in the background for a while. And NiftyQ relaunching his one-on-one podcast. It's going to be awesome. So give it some love. Put that in the chat. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And yeah, if what we do up here every day looks easy, then I feel like we're doing something right. Because you know what? Trying to make it look a little bit easy sometimes.
I'm also trying to make it.
But anyway, yeah, appreciate everybody hanging out with us this week. It's been another crazy week in this wild Web3. And if you're still out there, if you're still listening in, if you're still participating, engaging, if you're still holding JPEGs, if you're still rocking your NFT merch, if you are still here figuring this crazy world out alongside us, we salute you and appreciate it.
All right, the two links that I dropped there were the Twitter profile for the Wild Wild Web, as well as the Spotify platform and channel page. So we're going to be launching these exclusively on Spotify at first. So we're going to have the video content and the audio component, and then we'll likely release the episodes about 24 hours to 48 hours afterwards on YouTube. So if you're just on YouTube, somehow you can't leave, if you're trapped on this platform, we're still going to release these episodes about 24 to 48 hours afterwards. They'll have the video and audio component as well. But definitely excited to get that off the ground, man. Hey, look at us. We're still building. Still doing what we need to be doing in the bear market. You guys as well, thank you for tuning in. Y'all are getting after it every day. I know you are. So I'll let you guys, or I'll let Gifted take it out, but you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much, our vibe, our tribe.
You said it all, my guy. We'll be back next week with GM Web3. I'm looking forward to Wild Wild Web. And again, salute and big love to each and every one of y'all. Hope you have an amazing weekend. Are we doing Speakeasy? That's important. No Speakeasy today. All right, you know what? Maybe next week. But either way, have a beautiful weekend. Our vibe, our tribe.
Oh, Jay!